Good evening, Great Lions. It's a pleasure to welcome everyone to Learning Lounge for the month of October, and we are honored to have this evening a very distinguished and renowned faculty, Lion Austin Onono, who will be sharing with us on building a plan to achieve shared purpose. No doubt we're all aware, collective efforts are towards making our world a better place through our acts of service, and definitely we're able to make a greater impact if we do work together as a team. So we'll be listening this evening and engaging to learn more. Before we go into activities for the day, let me invite our district governor for a brief welcome remarks before we pass on to Lion Austin. As always, we also do have the attendance sheet on the chat box, so please endeavor to fill that out so that we're able to update accordingly. Yeah. So over to you, Lion Austin.
Thought the DG wanted to say something.
Oh, sorry, over to you, my DG.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening, Lion Joyce. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Lion Joyce. Good evening, Lion Austin. Great Lions in the house. I greet you all and welcome you to today's Learning Lounge. I'm sure that we are all ready for it as usual. I want to appreciate as many that are here, and I'm sure many will still join. I want to encourage us to be attentive and take notes of all that we're going to, that will be shared with us today. Lion Joyce had said it all. We have a fantastic presenter today, and we are sure that we are going home, or we are going to end this meeting better informed and better prepared to take on the next task. Thank you so much for joining, and do have a happy moment with Lion Austin Onono. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my DG. So without further ado, I'll pass on to Lion Austin. Over to you, Lion Austin.
Thank you very much, Lion Joyce, and thank you very much for your kind words, DG Lion Folashade Shotomide. I'd like to say good evening and welcome to everybody on call. Please, can you all hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So I'd like to first thank the GLT coordinator for this learning series, which she put in place, I think it was last year. And I'd like to commend the district governor for her leadership, which she demonstrated by continuing something which is obviously quite laudable. I hope that participants have been taking stuff away from the learning series and that you have been implementing them in your personal lives, in your professional lives, and of course, in your Lions journey. I hope you're not here this evening because you don't have anything else better to do. I sincerely hope that you plan to share some of your thoughts and you plan to take some more things away with you. So today we shall jointly figure out our shared purpose and how to birth it, maybe in the district, but more importantly, in our various clubs. If you have a purpose, if you're working with a purpose, you'll find that it's easier to serve. You'll find that you're able to accommodate excesses of other people. You can excuse just about anything at all if you're working with a purpose. And then you find that you can give more of yourself you can give more of your time, you can give more of your resources, no matter how tough things are, because what is driving you is that purpose. What happens, unfortunately, is that if we're working based on our own steam and we're working according to our own desires, if something that you desire more than what you're doing presently comes along, and then you find that you begin to struggle. But before we start, I'd like to ask a question, and please type into the chat box. And the question is this. You answer yes or no in the chat box. Lion Franklin.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want you to monitor the chat box and let's know what comes out of it, all right?
Okay.
Okay, so my question is this: do you have a mental health management or mental health prevention plan? Do you have a mental health management plan? Yes or no? Please type into the chat box. All right, so all the chats that have come in so far.
And one yes.
Yes, Lampeju Paraiso, Eco Lions Club. Lampeju, can you unmute yourself and say hello? Lampeju, can you hear us? Okay, when you can, please feel free to unmute yourself and interject. I'd like you to share your thoughts on that while I do the same. But thank you for your responses. First of all, before I continue, I'd like to say thank you very much to Mary Eze. I assume that's a Lion Mary Eze. And of course, Lion Abayomi Aduroja. Both of them joined in at 6:32 and 6:33 respectively. Kudos to both of you. Thank you so much. All right. So
thank you, sir.
You're welcome, my brother. According to World Health Organization, in 2019, this is 2019, 1 in 4 Nigerians had one form of mental illness or the other. 1 in 4, that's 25%. Actually, in 2018, a year before that, the Permanent Secretary for Federal Ministry of Health had announced that 30% of Nigerians were mentally ill. Now, in 2018, Nigeria was ranked 15th in the whole world for the frequency of suicide. Bear in mind that we have only 8 neuropsychiatric hospitals in Nigeria, most of which are underfunded. Now, it gets even more worrisome. According to the Nigerian Medical Association, and this is in 2021, that's about 3 years ago, Nigeria now ranks 5th in the world for the frequency of suicide. 5th in the world for the frequency of suicide. We have just about 300 psychiatrists. This number had actually gone up. Before now, it was about 220. In fact, it was about 200. So we're talking 1 psychiatrist for every 700,000 Nigerians.
Good evening, my great lion.
I'm Beju. Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well. Nice to see you.
Pleasure. Please, can you just quickly let us know how come you have a mental health management plan?
In brief, you'll find out that how do I go about this? I know that I've heard about people suicidal thoughts here and there, And you also realize that it's not everybody that looks okay that's actually okay mentally or emotionally.
Right.
So that led me to asking questions. And it's even rampant when you go out of this country, when you see Nigerians, quote unquote, on the street. So I started talking to some of my friends out there. And then I found that it's better to pay attention to oneself, to worry less, to pay attention to what is most important to you as an individual and as a person. And if you have an issue, you quickly know who to talk to. When you're open to discuss your issues, then it becomes nothing, because a problem half solved is no more a problem. And so I live my life that way, knowing that I have nothing to fear and I am balanced. If anything comes my way that looks confusing, I know who to reach out to and who to discuss it with. And so far, so good. I know I am balanced. Thank you.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, guys, I hope you've heard. So this is number one takeaway point. You've heard it. So it wasn't just me that was going to say it. This thing is real, and she has explained to you the reasons. Now, things are not getting any better at all. Bear in mind that some of the statistics I shared were before the current situation we're experiencing now. So we must secure ourselves, otherwise we cannot help anybody. That's the honest truth. If you're fighting in your clubs, within your club, amongst yourselves, because you're feeling cheesy or because one thing or the other, there's no way you're going to be able to come together to help the society that you claim to serve. Anxiety and depression have eaten deep into the fabric of our existence. You don't necessarily have to go about the streets naked for you to be mentally imbalanced. Some people worry, some people are extremely anxious. A lot of people are depressed right now. So your mental health management plan is critical, and it should include things like, what would you want your friends or your colleagues, what would you want members of your family to do when you start acting somehow? You know how it is, when you start acting somehow, even yourself, you know that things are not quite the same. All right. How do you build up your emotional intelligence? Because that is one of the things that will help you to overcome the challenges that we're going through. And then what are you doing to manage the stress, which is obviously hitting people significantly presently? So a mental health management plan, please, people, is very, very important. And if there's nothing else that you take away from this evening, it is that when you go back, try and develop one. All right. So the quote you see on your screen was by Thomas James Vilsack. He's currently the Secretary for Agriculture in the United States of America. He was in the same role during the Obama years between 2009 and 2017. He was actually considered for vice president by Hillary Clinton. So this gentleman must obviously be a strong team player. Do you think this quote is true? When you see the impossible becoming possible, do you agree that in a Nigerian setting, something like this is possible? Nigerians will say, I beg you, person will never chop, they climb mountain. If you climb mountain, if you never chop. Yet people outside are coming up with, ground shaking things, things are happening all around us. And all we're doing is just look, we're not even attempting to follow. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. One of his brain chip startup called Neuralink Neuralink has just received certification from the FDA, that's Food and Drug Administration in America. They've given one of his products called Blind Sight a designation. It's called Breakthrough Device. Currently, it is still experimental. But what Blind Sight seeks to do is that it will restore vision to people with partial or complete blindness, even if you are blind from birth, as long as the not even your optic nerve, as long as the visual cortex is still intact. So even if your optic nerve is dead, what this blind sight will do will be to replace that optic nerve and have your visual cortex process the information that your eye is seeing, so that your retina is receiving from the eye, so that you can see. As Lions, our primary project is the prevention of the fight against preventable blindness. So we should be interested in what Elon Musk and his company is doing, Neuralink. And there are so many other things that are happening around us. So basically, when Thomas James Vilsack says that people working together in a strong community with a shared goal and a common purpose can make the impossible possible, it is possible. One of the few things I like about America is when they start a business, they see the world as their market. When you look at most businesses in America, in fact, also the same thing with China, when they start businesses, they see the world as their market. When we start businesses here, we see Lagos as our market. We see Abuja, we see Kano, we don't even go beyond the state. So do you think we limit ourselves somewhat? And does that limiting affect the way we serve our communities? Because if we limit ourselves, the thing that we can give to the community will be limited. But if we leave ourselves to explore, then we can begin to look at all sorts of ways that we can help people, even the things that seem insurmountable. So I ask you, are we working with a shared purpose? I'd like us to quickly answer, Lion Frank. Frank,
Yes,
can you please launch the first poll? Okay, so Lions, please answer yes or no. Do you think we work with a common or shared purpose in our district? Yes or no? Okay, we should have it now. Frank?
Yes. We have 85 people answering yes. And we have, 83%.
83%
Yeah.
believe that we have a common or shared purpose.
Yeah. And we have 15 still climbing.
I love that.
Saying no.
I love that. So it's saying that the majority think that we have a shared purpose. Let us validate that. Okay, let's launch the second poll. Because we should not only answer some of these questions, okay, but we must question the answers. Let's not continue to do things in a linear fashion. All right, so we've said that we're working with a shared purpose. Let's see if the answer to the next question will validate what.
If I need to launch the second one, I'll need to end this poll. Should I end this poll?
And this one, yes, please. Okay, Frank, if it's a challenge, I can continue. No, this is still the first one.
Okay, I'm launching the second one now.
All right, please go ahead. Okay, so which of the following do you think best describes our purpose? Is it helping the poor and needy in our community? Is it providing humanitarian services to members of our community? Or is it the Lions Club's international purposes? Let's exercise those fingers. Sharp, sharp. Which of the following do you think best describes our purpose? All right, Frank, do we have up to maybe 70 people answering, 80?
Well, helping the poor and the needy in our community has 27%.
Okay, can you show the results that you have?
Okay, should I end?
End and show the results, yes, please.
Okay.
All right. So helping the poor and needy 30%, providing humanitarian service to members 50%, Lions Clubs International purpose 20%. So do you all still think that we have a shared purpose? You can see that our thoughts are split in 3 different ways. If we had a seriously shared purpose, we'll have one of these 3 options coming in at maybe 80% or something like that. All right. Thank you very much, though. Thanks, everybody. Okay, so somebody may say, yeah, but why are we not talking about Lions Clubs International purpose? That after all, we have a purpose. Why are we having this conversation again? And so this is our Lions Clubs International purpose. I believe we're all somewhat familiar with this. I say somewhat because a lot of Lions still struggle to read this. I'm sorry, I'm not knocking anybody, but this is the truth. You see, if we have this purpose in us, we should take some of these things extremely seriously and make an effort to know them. When you go for Lions functions and there are non-Lions around, and the Lion is up there reading our international purpose or code of ethics, and the Lion is falling all over the words and all over the lines, how do you expect someone who is a non-Lion to take us seriously? Now, this Lions International purpose, I'm glad I saw that it was only 20% because this does not refer to the purpose that we're talking about. In fact, it's only the last one, to encourage service-minded people, that actually talks about that purpose. So this is what Lions Clubs International has as its purpose. And for you to actually now use it, you have to domesticate it, just like international law. You have to bring it down to your own level. But let's look at our mission and our vision. Through your execution and through your reporting of projects, you help Lions Clubs International to consolidate its hold, to consolidate its position as a global leader in community and humanitarian service. Now, being confirmed as a global leader has advantages. It has an impact on people's perception of the association, and it has an impact on their decision to join. So when we talk about membership, when we talk Mission 1.5, You can now see how that project which you have done, which you didn't report, impacts our mission 1.5. You can see how that project which you did poorly and reported will impact our mission 1.5. Other service organizations also publish theirs on their various websites, and the flow of donations is influenced by these numbers. So our mission is what is closest to the kind of purpose, that we should be talking about in our clubs. There's just one thing missing. The mission says that to empower volunteers to serve their communities, meet humanitarian needs, encourage peace, and promote international understanding through Lions Clubs. One thing is missing. What is that thing that is missing? And that thing that is missing is the community that we serve. If you don't know for certain which community you serve, any community will do. But the problem is that, your utilization of funds will not be optimal. And it's very, very important. So that community, if your club has not identified with a community, first and foremost, you can't have a purpose. So if your club doesn't have a community, if you're one of those clubs that undertake a project today in Ikorodu, the next week you come out and you do it in Ikeja, the upper week you do it in Yaba, and then the next week you do it in Ijebu-Ode, this is same club, you don't have a purpose. So please, another takeaway is make an effort. Identify your community. You must know what your community is like. You must know the geographical coordinates of your community. You must know whether it's an aging community or a young community. You must have an idea how many schools, how many businesses, how many hospitals. You should know who the local government chairperson is. You must know if there is a community development association and who the officers are. If you don't know all of these things, you are wasting money. And you'll find that it will be difficult for you to actually develop a purpose. So, according to the Oxford Dictionary, purpose is that reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. Purpose of the meeting is to appoint a trustee. So, the reason for which something is done, the reason for which something exists. That's the purpose. So you want to ask yourself, what is your club's purpose? For instance, not all communities are poor, undeveloped. So your club's why may vary. For me, it's not about even why something exists, for which something exists, it's why that thing exists. Why do you want to do the things that you want to do? That is what will guide you towards your purpose. Rich people take ill. Rich people get lonely. Rich people need security in their neighborhoods. So if you say helping the poor and needy is your purpose, all right? Are you excluding the rich people unless your community is populated totally by only poor and needy people? So don't copy. Make your purpose, okay, suit exactly what you have identified in your community as what that community needs. What is it that that community needs that keeps you awake at night, that you want to resolve, that you want to be happy when this thing is out of the way? What is that? Drug problem among rich people's children may be worse than in poor neighborhoods because they have access to more cash. So the drug barons will move more drugs into that area. So if smoking, just a little bit of loud, would tip you over the edge, imagine smoking quite a bit of it because you can afford it. What does your community need that really makes you restless? What are the desired outcomes and impact of the work that you want to do in your community? I'm a member of Lagos Achievers Lions Club. Some years ago, we serve Obalende community, Obalende South. As a matter of fact, now We are now serving Obalende South, Ije, and Dolphin communities. Ije and Dolphin by forced themselves on us because they saw the things that had been happening in Obalende South. And they said, Otio, there is no way you guys are enjoying this thing alone. During our last community needs assessment meeting, the chairperson of Ije Dolphin community, along with his vice chairperson, secretary, and 3 other members, bulldozed their way into the meetings. I think they had discussed with Obalende South. We accommodated them. Today, we're serving all 3 communities. And so far, they've been very, very happy. Has your club reached a point where members of the community, if there's a problem, we say, have you asked the Lions Club? You would only get to that point if you have a purpose and if you work according to that purpose. So back to my story. We were planning to create employment for some youth in our Balende community by developing carts that they will use to push trash from people's homes. So we're going to make plastic bags, with logo on it and give freely to every household. And on each of the 5 major roads in Obalende, we're going to get children, young people from there to push these carts. So the plan was that they will pick up the bags from the various homes and take them to a big skip on Dodan Barracks Road. All of it looked really nice. And the community members said, my Lions, this thing is very good, we like it. But there is one thing that is really bothering us about this thing. And we said, what was that? They said, our drains have not been cleared for a while. The rains are about to come. Once the rains come, our whole houses will be flooded as always. We changed the plan and we cleared the drains. You should have seen Obalende community on that day. They were entering the gutters, moving from one street to the other, underneath with excitement. Us Lions got our fingers, our hands, our clothes dirty. The community people, children and adults, it was a carnival. Since that day, that community does not joke with us. We identified with something that they needed, and we did it with joy, working with them alongside. And that's why we have a very strong relationship. So what is your club's purpose? Most Lions, let me even, what is your own purpose as a Lion? What is your individual purpose as a Lion? Most Lions show up for projects just for pictures. When you're giving somebody food, you're paying more attention to the camera angle. Are you getting it? Take now, when you could actually be looking the person you're giving the pack of food to and said, listen, I'm very sorry, but we would have loved to do more. Can you just manage this for now? If we get some more, we will come back. The person won't mind if you're looking at camera to take the picture because the person is hungry. But the food will certainly go down better if you engage that person with love when you were sharing that. So are you doing projects just for posting, just for numbers? If you're doing that, that's actually a crime, I believe, because that is exploitation of humanity and vulnerability of the people that you're supposed to be serving. And that is not something that will lead us to purpose. So all that we have discussed are the things that will help you to identify what your club's purpose is. What is it that makes you restless? What is it that the community really needs? Do you go and sit with them and discuss, find out what it is that they want before you start acting? If you're able to say that your purpose is, for instance, improving health and well-being of XYZ community, that sounds nice. If it's improving livelihood of members of this community, that sounds nice. That means you're saying that you don't have enough money to work on the infrastructure, but you're going to work on the people's livelihood. If you're talking about ensuring and enhancing security infrastructure in an area, that is a purpose. Maybe it's an area where they have armed robbery cases or all sorts of insecurity. If you have more money, you can talk about community regeneration. You should have something. You can say that in this community that we're going to attend to the elderly. Maybe this is an aging community, and a lot of the young people have gone out to the cities. Who is there to look after the aging population? You might say that the children are the future of tomorrow. So your purpose is children's development and education. If you can find time to articulate some of these things, to sit down and discuss them, then clearly, you're just carrying on, feathering your own nest, making yourself feel good. So identifying that purpose is critical. So these are the steps that we can now use to endure. We have done the first one, because I believe that getting it right underpins the success of the whole exercise. If you don't identify that purpose, everything else that you're doing will not fall in place. So review what we just did, review it in your clubs. You can call for a strategy session. It could be a CQI seminar. It could be a focus group session. It could just be a brainstorming exercise during your meeting. But try and identify, articulate, okay, and share what your club's purpose is. When you've identified that, you can then now talk about, and this is now for the leaders, it could be the president, but if the president is not taking the lead, any one of us, any one of you in the club can pick up that gauntlet. You can talk to the president, you can talk to the leaders, share the vision, motivate and engage members. Members have to own the purpose. Get them to do so in a fun way. Don't push it on them, don't force it on them. Let them on their own use storytelling, use metaphors, to make the purpose more memorable, to make people want to identify with that. You have to tell the stories enthusiastically. You can't just start telling somebody, I'm a member of Lions Club, my dear. So all the person is hearing that this person is a member of Lions Club, but the weight on this person is too much. But I'm a member of Lagos Achievers Lions Club. We do amazing things. Each time we do a project and we see one person who will not have been alive the following day, okay, gets attention, it gives us joy. It will be nice if you come and join us. You're discussing with purpose, you're discussing from deep down. The person listening to you will see that you mean what you're saying and you love what you're saying. It will motivate the person. You can do the same thing for your members. Okay? Let your enthusiasm and stories show how the purpose will benefit members. And then you have to synchronize your activities with the purpose. Do your monthly activities align with your purpose? Or do your monthly activities just serve you? If projects are not being discussed in your meetings, sorry, your club is a social club. You must either be reviewing a project that you had just completed, or you're discussing one that is coming in future. If you're not doing any of the two, you don't have a Lions Club. And it's when you begin to do things like this that you now find people who are actually service-minded coming forward to participate and get involved. If needs assessment do not determine the actions that your club takes, your outcomes are going to be suboptimal. You can work it. You can go and do things. But like I said, you'll be doing things that the community will say thank you for, but it may not really be the things that they want. And very often I have seen that when you execute needs assessment-driven projects, they usually cost you less than when you do the jamboree things to make yourself feel good, to flex. Yes, I did that. Times are hard. Dollar exchange rates now, it's about 1,760 or maybe 1,700 to 1,760. That is not a joke. You have to know, you have to plan to use your resources very well. So your club should create an action plan based on the needs and the issues. A lot of clubs don't plan. A lot of people don't plan. You just wing it. Anyhow we work, make we just do them like that. Now to do project, now they say, make we do this one this month. Them say, who be them? What are they saying? Why are you doing it? You're doing it because November is diabetes month, so we must do a diabetes project. You're doing it because October is month for vision. So make we just gather some people, just call that doctor. You know that doctor now? I don't even forget his name. I bring and come here, just check like that kind 10, 15 people. You do now, we'll just take picture, everybody bounce. Money no deal, guy. Me self no go show. Are you working with purpose? So you have to synchronize your activities. You find that most times our members are disengaged, but anytime Ashwebi, anytime filler, anytime convention, local or international, as long as there is movement somewhere, pops into the conversation, everybody comes alive. What is happening? So these are just a few of the things that we must change for purpose to take root. And when you've done all of that, you have to communicate. Integrated communication means you're communicating stylistically. It means you're communicating clearly, and you're communicating the purpose, which is very, very critical. You can communicate through regular meetings, BOD meetings, committee meetings. You can even have a newsletter, and more importantly, one-on-one engagement with members. If you're a president and you're on this call, you should at least endeavor to speak to your members, every one of your members, one-on-one, at least, let's even say last 2 times in the Lions year. But if you can do it every quarter, that will be fine. Lion Austin, good evening. Good evening, my president. How are you today? Just calling to say hello. How's the family? How things at work? You know, the other time you called me, but I'm sorry I wasn't there. This is that. You just talk. You know, so just calling to check in. If there's anything you need, you know, please let me know. If there's anything that you think we should do better, please let me know. By the time you've done it like 2 or 3 times to somebody who hasn't been performing, at some point the person will say, Haba, even if it's only once, make I try show. So communication is critical, and one-on-one communication with members, you know, would actually get you there. Help the members to see the value that they bring. Let them know that they have made an impact. Don't just carry on as if, you know, you're the one who has done it all. And whatever this person has done over the years or in the last few hours or last few months is nonsense. This is the reason why a lot of people show up for a bit and then all of a sudden they're not coming in again. Because people get together to do something and then only you one, like my friend will say, bless his memory, only you one will take all the credit. That is wrong. So articulate the purpose well. There's a difference between fix a problem, for instance, and we know there's a problem there, and saying we need to restore the club's reputation. You have to be specific about the things that you're saying. The reason most other multiple districts and constitutional areas continue to run rings around us is because they pay attention to detail. We skip details. We prefer to use Agbara power. We skip details. We don't read, we don't check. You know, a lot of things are on the website, Lions and Clubs International website. They spend a lot of money putting those things up there, maintaining them regularly. All we need to do is just check and use, but no, we want somebody to spoon feed us. Spoon feed us. That is wrong. Why would a club finish a project that you organized, you executed, and you're waiting for the district to tell you how to report, number of lions in attendance, number of non-lions, how many hours, and then they will even tell you 2 times 2 is 12. And you go and write it 2 times 2 is 12. Are you okay? So we need to show some interest and enthusiasm. And we must listen actively when we're communicating. Otherwise, we may miss a lot of the things that they're saying. So the next one is model the way, enable others to act and encourage the way. These are researched and tested leadership practices. Members must see through you or through your actions the purpose that you are selling. You can't be saying one thing and doing another thing. They will know that you're a fraud immediately. You can't say, look, everybody, please, let us bring ourselves down. Let's get our hands dirty. Let's do these things ourselves. It's not about just engaging people. And then you will now stand, okay? And maybe you're drinking pure water, you're drinking bottled water, you're drinking Coke, or drinking beer, whichever one. Some people would even want to carry Glenfiddich because it's costing about 400,000, so that people will see that president is drinking Glenfiddich at a project. And some presidents will say, any lion that comes out, I'm dropping 1 bottle of Glenfiddich 25. And then all of a sudden the place is full. Everybody, so it's Shayo that we're going for is Fudge. It's not. New leadership is about leading without a title. It's about leaving your ego at the door. If you have to tell people that you're X, you're not X. New leadership is about doing it, getting down and doing the most menial of tasks. Then people will lift you up. You don't lift yourself up. If you ask to be lifted, you are a pauper, you are a follower, you are not a leader. If you insist on being lifted or being recognized, you are not a leader. Some troubling things even happen. This is period for investitures. So now some people will go to a club's investiture and your friend comes and sprays you. And all of a sudden that money now becomes yours. It is me that they sprayed. I'm the one that organized it. It is my investiture. Therefore, the money is mine. That is fraud. As long as that event has been organized under the aegis of Lions Clubs International, under the aegis of your own club, whatever monies that show in that place should belong to the club. If you think otherwise, you don't belong to this association. It's as simple as daylight. Because you should do whatever it takes to get as much money to serve that community. The communities are in need. People are suffering. If you want the money, if you need help, organize a party in your own home. Let that person come and spray you there. And then you can use it the way you want. So model the way. Celebrate people, celebrate change makers, celebrate team members, empathize and support when members are down. Develop your emotional intelligence so that you know when they need you. And then, of course, constantly share your stories. Whatever stories you have, things that you know will motivate and excite people, share them. So some of those things that we've just discussed, those are some benefits of purpose. Those are purpose-driven leadership, and they have benefits. Leads to trust and collaboration, enhancing resilience, and then, of course, cultivating innovation. I just told you about Elon Musk. These people don't have more heads than we have. Yes, the environment is a bit more clement. The air is, clearer sometimes. But the air in some of those places can be just as dirty and as thick and as smelly as what we have here sometimes. And a few people from these same localities, these same areas, have gone on to come up with amazing things. We need more people like that. So shared purpose fosters collaborative and supportive environment. All right. Now, we have a lot of lion leaders. So to implement purpose-driven leadership, you must, one, have a clear strategic plan and a vision. You must, two, be authentic. You must lead by example, and you must communicate effectively.
Is that one locked?
Three, you must create a culture of transparency and inclusiveness and empower members. You have to be adaptable and willing to revise the purpose if necessary. If you do all of that, what you have on the screen are some of the things that you benefit. For trust and collaboration, when purpose takes center stage, everyone plugs in. Purpose influences engagement and motivation. And once you've done that, that motivation becomes intrinsic. It becomes something that is you. It is in your DNA. For organizational resilience, for club resilience, for instance, shared purpose, for instance, will also help you to stay anchored. If shared purpose anchors your club's decisions and your club's strategies, you'll find that no matter what it is that comes your way, you'll be able to overcome. Even if your club gets that letter, or you see your club posted amongst the list, club of financial suspension, because you have a purpose, everybody will rally around. Even if the club goes into financial suspension, that purpose will make you guys call yourselves and say, look, we cannot stay away from this community. We have to find a way to get back into this. And if that purpose drives you, you will find yourself getting back into the game. Purpose results to resilience. And then, of course, innovation, when you have purpose, is going to help you to find ways to do things differently. If you create and encourage a culture of exploration and risk-taking amongst your members, then you're going to constantly find cheaper, faster, better ways of doing things that you did 3, 4, 5 years ago. If you're doing a project and you're doing it exactly the same way you did it 10 years ago, my brother, my sister, you are not in. Because if you innovate, you'll find that you'll be able to reach more people, your project will be more effectual, and you, as members of the club that are doing this, will be a lot happier. So purpose-driven leadership has its benefits. Therefore, it's extremely important that you figure out what your purpose is and work with that purpose. When you do, these will be the outcomes that you get. You should be the reason that others are smiling like all these little children and adults in this place. You should be the reason that people are taking better pictures than this. How many lives have you touched driven by purpose? Trey says that if your presence doesn't make an impact, your absence won't make any difference. If your presence doesn't make an impact, your absence won't make any difference. So if the presence of your club in a particular area does not make an impact on the lives of the people in that community, the day you die, the day you go under financial suspension, the day your club is canceled, they won't even know that you existed. Wouldn't that be a shame? Tim Telbo says that regardless of what I do, I know that my purpose is to make a difference in people's lives. Regardless of what I do. And I share this. I always seek to ensure that nobody meets me and goes away the same. That's a purpose. It means you'll be ready to give of yourself. It means you have to wait. It means you have to listen. It means you have to bend over backwards sometimes. It means you have to cuddle. It means you have to bring somebody close. It means that you have to deny yourself sometimes. It means that you have to empty yourself. It means that you may have to burn the night candle to get information that somebody will find useful. But when you do, you will feel that you've made an impact. Now, Jane Goodall says that what you do makes a difference. You have to decide what kind of difference it is. Some people wake up in the morning and the first question they ask themselves is, whose life can I make more miserable today? So imagine that I wasn't the strong person that I am, and that person remembers that, this Austin Onono self, make I show him today. Then I'm finished. If you don't have emotional intelligence, you're finished. If you don't have a mental health management plan, you're finished. If you don't have a purpose, you are blown to smithereens. Whose life have you touched? If you can't touch 100, like Mother Teresa will say, touch one life. That's enough. Touch one life. So in rounding up, let's look at Nelson Mandela's quote. He says, we can change the world and make it a better place. It is in our hands to make a difference. JFK says that one person can make a difference and everyone should try. So one person in your club can make a difference, but every member of your club should try. Now imagine if every member of your club makes the kind of difference that you are making. Wouldn't that be amazing? Imagine that you're a leader and you've developed the people around you to even do things better than you can do. Imagine the results that you will achieve. But if you're that kind of leader who must necessarily be above everyone else, who must know more than everyone else, who must boss everyone else, who must emasculate everyone else, you cannot shine more than I am shining. What happens? You either stagnate or you die. So you're not too small to try, no matter what it is. Don't feel that you're too small. Dalai Lama says that anyone who thinks that they are too small to make a difference has never tried to fall asleep with a mosquito in the room. Shakily mosquito like this, you have a board meeting tomorrow morning. One small mosquito don't enter your room this night. No sleep for you. That board meeting, you don't bomb, die. No be board meeting again, a bomb meeting. Mosquito. So you are not too small to make a difference. There are people who in various clubs have been so relegated, have been so pushed away, but they are enthusiastic. They are afraid to speak up because the leaders in that club don't give them the opportunity. I'm telling you today, make that contribution. Seek for an opportunity to speak up, even if you think they're not listening. At some point, somebody will remember that thing that you said. Fred Rogers said that we live in a world in which we need to share responsibility. It's easy to say, it's not my child, it's not my community, it's not my world, it's not my problem. But there are people who see the need and they respond. Those people are called lions. You and I. They are heroes. And there's a reason why we're only 1.45 million lions in the world of about 8 billion people. There's a reason why we're just about 12 or maybe 13,000 lions, if we're even up to that in Nigeria, in a country of over 200 million people. You are heroes. However, even within us, we must tell ourselves some home truths. We have some improving to do. And when we make those improvements, we'll achieve the things that have been eluding us. So there's always light, if only we are brave enough to see it. And if we are brave enough to be that light. That was said by Amanda Gorman. Let us work with purpose and let us be that light that our communities need. Thank you very much. If you have questions or comments, I believe we have a little more time and we can share. Thank you so much. Lion Joyce.
Thank you very much, Lion Austin. I'm standing in for Lion Joyce. Thank you for this session. Brilliant session. If your presence doesn't make an impact, your absence makes no difference. Fantastic. I'm sure that a lot of us had one or two things to pick as well from this session. Thank you. Great Lions, time for questions, comments. I'm sure Lion Austin would want to take a couple of questions and comments. Please just show by a raise of a
Lion
hand.
Adoroja has his hands up.
Yes, Lion Adoroja, please, you have the floor.
In Lionism,
We serve.
I just want to appreciate Lion Austin for his wonderful work. I'm one of his students, and I always enjoy this topic. Is another area that we don't always look into, and I appreciate the fact that he was able to touch a lot of things that will sit down and implement in our different clubs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, my Lion. Lion Akiosho.
Good evening, Lion leaders, starting from the DG and every other senior Lions. Lion Onono, you know me well. Thank you for the enlightenment tonight. It's indeed a broadened one, although it sounds like a whip to some of us who are doing the wrong thing. But I want to kindly say that what we have lacked is the issue of the training. And we keep having the slogan that a knowledgeable lion is a better lion. I think we should saddle ourselves more with training timing instead of affairs and all this, fanfare. A lot of things have gone wrong. But thank God for this bifurcation which has brought us now to this understanding that we found ourselves. I keep saying to people, I said, when I joined the Lions Club some years ago, it was indeed service-oriented club. You see people, you are eager, you want to do one thing or the other. But I tell people, I said, Lions Club has turned to pub, whereby it's party and jamboree. I wish we can. Thank God the new DG, current DG is making all effort to get these things sorted out. And I hope the incoming one will be able to do that, that there should be more timing for internal training from the senior Lions with understanding than us just occupying ourselves in some other things. Maybe we should have an agenda that this meeting today, 30 minutes, 40 minutes from an outsider to give us a training section. The next meeting we can do another thing. So if we're able to do this, and then the orientations of the new members that we are inducting, their orientation is also another thing very important we need to look into. And I want to say a big thank you for tonight's enlightenment. And I promise we will take use of it in my own personal club, our club, and we will see how far we can go with it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Leonard Roger. Trainings have actually been done quite a bit. Unfortunately, people don't take training seriously, and they don't use some of the things that have been done in training. And this is not just club officers training, even region chairpersons training, zone chairpersons training. If you ask some zone chairpersons and region chairpersons, what is the club health assessment? Ask a club president what a club health assessment is. You know, they're looking at scans, not to talk of have they even used it. So it's for us to connect with that purpose. Once you connect with that purpose, you find yourself looking for information that will help you to actualize this. The Lions Learning Center is on the website. It has amazing information, you know, things that you pay 150,000 for outside easily, and it's free on the Lions Learning Center. People have been told so many times, yet only very few, you know, are doing it. Alliance Prayer talks about the speakers of the day, the fine thoughts that they bring. You know, you can start from your own club, and I know you have done something like that once. But if you say for every meeting, there's going to be a speaker, talk on something, there's going to be an activity, so that Lions take something away that is valuable, you know, and after a while, it becomes a part of you. Orientation of new members is critical, but what is even more critical is how you bring in the members. Most times, people just gather people who shouldn't be Lions. You pay for those people who shouldn't be Lions, and then after 1 year, you tell the people that they have to pay dues. They're like, excuse me? You know, you guys are now beginning to look like fraudsters. In the first place, I didn't ask to come here. How did I even find myself? All I did was attend one of your events. How does that translate into me becoming a Lion? So if you go to the website again, you know, there are documents about the process for making somebody a member. So if we decide to start today to select people based on the processes that LCI put in place, you'll be amazed what we'll have. You know, we should paint a picture of the Lion that we want. What should this Lion be? International dues is $48 now. Even at 1,000, before 1,002, it's almost 80,000 Naira. That's before local dues, that's before anything else. So whoever you're going to bring in must have disposable income of at least 80,000 Naira. Economic considerations must come in. You know, one person can't be paying other people's dues. That is a recipe for disaster. Well, thank you very much, Laina Kiosho. Mary Euphemia, you were one of those who joined in very early. Thank you very much. Your hand is up.
Yeah, good evening.
Good
Great
evening.
Lion. In Lionism,
We serve.
in fact, I'm lost. And
Oh my gosh.
with the revelation, with the details of this evening's talk, is so full. And sir, I want to say a very big thank you. You have really touched me in so many ways.
Thank you.
And I want to find out. I am new as a Lion. I want to find out, apart from, because we are talking of shutting down, clubs if they are not doing well, or maybe really on financial grounds or something.
Yes.
But in achieving purpose, is there anything Lions can do to make sure clubs achieve purpose? I am talking now about supervisory, activities. Because you can't just leave Lions that have just come up to just go on and be doing, carry on. I know there are, what do they call them? Those that led them to become clubs, But there should be supervision for, in fact, for even old Lions in case they deviate. Because these things stated here now, they have to be, it's an everlasting thing, not that you do to some extent and you stop. So the supervision tool, there should be an arm that supervises clubs to make sure that purposes are achieved. And I think that's why Lionism is really not growing, because somewhere along the line, it has more or less become a social club, a club of, good get a shabby and all that, like you kind of mentioned in a way. So this supervision thing is really what I'm emphasizing on, because in
Okay,
that way,
thanks.
it will help
Thank
us
you
to
very
stand.
much. There is
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary, and welcome to the association. It's actually a good association to be in, and I've been a member for 25 years. And whenever I feel I've been involved in saving one person's life through a project that I was involved with, or one time I went to Benin with a district governor, and a club in Benin had organized a water project. When that project was commissioned and the taps were turned open, the children ran out of their classes. Should have seen their teeth, white teeth all over the place, careless, abandon. Even you as an adult will find it difficult not to join them and roll in the mud. Those are the things that give me joy. Now, if your club is new, your club will have what we call guiding lions. And if you don't know who your guiding lions are, you should have two. Please contact the district governor, or if you know who your zone chairperson is or your region chairperson is, you can get in touch with them. While we are on the call now, you can send a message directly to the district cabinet secretary. You look for Chinyelu Samuel Johnson or Lion Folashade Shotomide, the district governor. You can send a direct message to them, tell them your club's name and all that, and I'm sure they will hook you up. And then, of course, they can also help you with mentors, people that will guide you on the journey, and I believe that you'll have a good time. Lion Debo, Afonaya, my man.
Good evening, Mr. Governor.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Debo, are you district governor now? Are you first vice, or are you past district governor? Forgive me.
First vice.
Your first vice. Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. All right.
So,
well
so permit me to first of all appreciate the great work that you do and you're still doing. I would have to say, because it's quite difficult for me to not to say, that this lesson or this topic today was just like a replica of what happened in Calabar in 2018. That was like the first time I met you. And after your lecture that day, the causes and posts now on leadership, which you mentioned part of today, it was life-changing. The words came in just like it was in 2018. And the fire that you sparked up that day, with all due respect, is what has made some of us what we are today. Absolutely. So I want to thank you for the seat. At every time I've called you, you've always given one word or the other. So part of what I learned, I came in a little late because I was held up somewhere. The part I want us to begin to focus on as lions, which is something that exemplifies outstanding leaders, is the part of modeling the way. It's one thing to say, it's another thing to do. And just as you said in one of your lines, it's one thing to say one thing and expect people to follow when you don't do the same thing you say. When your audio and your video don't align, there'll be crisis in leadership.
Correct.
So I want to admonish that for those of us who have chosen to follow this path of service, let us complete the cycle. Let our audio and our video, let them match. And when you do that, that indeed will command followership, would command support, and would make a lot of influence. I want to thank you, and I'm happy that I made this meeting. And for those of us, whatever it is we're going through, let's not give up. Let's continue, and we'll make the world a better place as we do. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, First Vice District Governor Deborah Afolayan. Thanks for your kind words. And I agree with you about the optics. Leaders can achieve this by not sweeping things under the rug. One of the main problems that we have in the association is that when somebody does something wrong, the person is not chastised. The person is not called to order. The larger house is not told that this is wrong and it's not acceptable. It's swept under the carpet because this person is connected to leaders and the person is influential within. Maybe this person is a worker, and during elections, this person is vital. So nobody wants to be on the wrong side of this person. And therefore, people get away with rubbish and there is no accountability. We can decide as leaders, those who are at district levels now, DG teams, should say that not under my watch. Somebody does something wrong, we will call the person out, okay? But not a case where somebody has done something wrong, you bring the matter up, and the person who should chastise is not chastising. And the following year, you see that the person has been given an even better role. That is wrong. And those are the things that make the good people no longer want to associate with the association. But thanks, Deborah. I hope, I believe that you've been doing, as a member of your DG team, you've been implementing some of these things. By God's grace, when you become district governor, we should see bigger changes. Kojo Anthony Onweze.
Good evening. Thank you very much for the audience. The juice on my battery is very low, so I have to hurry up. I just want to say that you've given a very beautiful presentation, but I want us to go further because now all of us will be screaming, wonderful presentation, wonderful presentation. By the time this Zoom ends, next week, call back half of the people who were in this Zoom, what was discussed today. Most of us would have forgotten. How many of us take back these lectures we attend back to our clubs to see how we can implement it? How many presidents do you have here? How many first vice do you have here? Like I keep saying, Lionism is about service and leadership. If the district is so focused in marking clubs based on activities and cabinet meetings attended, they should also try to see that there's a grading score for lions who attend trainings and have it reported. We can keep having series of lectures every week, but if there's no follow-up or a way to get to know if what we are learned is being put into use, then it's like we'll keep going in a circle without getting the desired results. We've had beautiful lectures, but how well does this lecture get down to the club and then is imparted in members and the community? So the leadership needs to do more in terms of making sure that lectures are attended or listened to impacts the club and members. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Lion Kojo. In fact, I'm a proponent of figuring out what you can do to a lion or what you can do to a club, that have chosen to embrace the wrong path. What you can do to them to make them want to get back onto the right path. This is something that districts should do, district leaderships should do, so that when people run foul of our systems and you apply that consequence management, they will want to do differently to now get back on. When people do well based on what they've learned from training and they excel, then you want to reward those ones. I believe that the leadership needs to become truthful. The leadership needs to become more focused. The leadership needs to think about where this association is going, where it is presently, and what it should be doing. I would love to see a situation where governors, state governors, for instance, commissioners in the states, even Aso Rock, will know about the association. Will want. I used to ask, why was a Ministry for Humanitarian Affairs established, and we don't have an MOU with the Ministry for Humanitarian Affairs? You know, it just shows, you know, that we're still not ready for the big league, and until we get ready, we'll continue to potter around. But I agree with you, lots of trainings. That's why I said when I started, I said that I hope people are not just here because they don't have anything better to do. And I said that I hope that people have been implementing the things they've been taking away from the Lions Club. Only the Lions here individually, in their heads and their hearts, will be able to answer that question truthfully. Lion Bridget, you had your hand up. If you're still there, you can ask after Lion Tony Chukwu asks his question. Lion Bridget Igodalo. Lion Tony Chukwu, your question, sir.
Good evening, first, everyone.
Good evening, my Lion. How are you?
Lion, no. I've always been interested in any of your lectures, though we've been old friends, and I know you've really impacted so much. I want to appreciate you for what you've done so far in the multiple districts for Nigeria. First of all, before I would ask my question, I will like, since we have some district governors here, and some of them are members of the DG team and incoming district governors, such a lecture sometimes would have been useful during conventions. I know, yes, we have so many activities, because taking my time to listen to this lecture, yes, some of us know some of all these things. Even some of those that try to put it in place in their clubs might end up having an enemy, because you find out that honesty is part of the problem. Dishonesty is part of the problem we're having in Lions Club. Everybody wants to do their thing their own way during their tenure. When it comes to projects, some clubs, I must tell you, will just wake up, maybe in one meeting, and tell you that they have a project next week that is going to cost so. And if you try to tell them, no, it doesn't work that way. We have lined up our project for the year. We need to know from time to time. Some don't even give proper accounts or reports after the project. So it makes it look as if anybody that comes in want to run the tenure the way they like, do their project without considering, some do projects just to get award from the district or from Obruk, not touching the lives we are supposed to touch as Lions. And when you try to make this correction, some might even tell you, when you reach your turn, you do them as you like. So it's really, really affecting some of the projects we do. You find out that we'll do a project, sometimes some of them bush we carry them in some locations, and some we go bad, and coming back to maintain them will be a problem. So it's just like wasting money without achieving anything. Some don't even have particular areas that they do their projects. So if we can create an avenue during multiple district conventions, maybe before the banquet, or just find a way to put it, when do we have a larger crowd, a larger house, and make something meaningful, or maybe during those trainings, bring up this kind of training where many Lions will be there, because it's not, some person might have wanted to be part of the training, like I joined, immediately I looked at the time, I said, wow, I was waiting for it to come, but something else took me out. And when I remembered, I joined, and I just say, my people need to hear some of all these things that you are saying. I now have to send it to my club wall, send the link to the 2-region war in Asaba, because these are some of the problems that is affecting clubs and killing clubs.
when it comes to projects and the way people run it as if it's their own personal business, or some people do it as a clique. It's not compulsory that I report to you. The most important thing is that I'm the president, I will do my project. So these are some of the things that affecting the projects we do, the clubs, and the integrity of Lionism. And when some of them will do some fraudulent things, because nobody chastises them and nobody suspends anybody, it looks as if they get away with it. So some of these things are the ills we are really facing in the multiple districts. It's not particular to any zone, but it's a random thing in different areas in this our multiple districts. So I really appreciate you for bringing this out, and I thank God that it's being recorded, so that even if you want to do your training, because like someone said here, that it's not just about listening here. Do we try to put it in practice? Do we try to do small training in our clubs? Some clubs don't even do training. Like last year, I must tell you that I think the district had just one online training, and it didn't really go down well with some of us, because we know that to make Lions Club active is making sure that you train and retrain, constant training, both CQI and club meetings training and both the district training helps a lot in keeping Lions focused. So I really appreciate you for what you've done this week. So thank you very much for this. And
thank you very much, Lion Tony. All right. Thanks a lot, Lion Tony. Well, see, the truth is, there is nothing that's been said here that the district governors, the district governor teams, the members of council have not heard. What is important is a resolve to do differently. Perhaps what we can do individually is to put pressure on each and every one of them. It is to stop recognizing them when they do things that are nonsense. But as long as we continue to kowtow, we continue to bow just because a person is XYZ, even if the person is saying nonsense and doing nonsense, then obviously we cannot go forward. Let's take our elections, for instance. There is no way that you have a serious-minded professional who has worked hard for his or her money, come into this association and pump money into the nonsense that we call elections. It's just not going to work. Why should we actively as leaders use election periods to extort money from clubs, or rather to extort money from the people who are vying just to pay for clubs that are moribund? And you know that these clubs are not in good standing. A lot of clubs wait until it's election time, and we actively get these people to spend their money paying dues for clubs. How can we call them clubs? And we don't do anything about it. A lot of our DG teams are not together. If the DG teams were together and we're singing from the same hymn book, constantly over a period of 3 years, you will see changes. But there is no harmony. And that's because of what you said, where we are more self-serving than we are community serving. And until we change that, we're not going to make any progress. We need to look at the way we bring people into the association and the way we form clubs. Yes, Oakbrook may be unhappy, that you're losing members, but you know what? We need to be bold to look Oakbrook in the face and say that, unfortunately, we need to lose some members first, achieve a certain level of decency and sanity before we can now grow organically into a district or a multiple district that will endure for the next 10 years. At the rate we're going, I'm afraid that in a few years' time, we won't even have what we have now. What we have now is suboptimal. That is the honest truth. A lot of people who are still members of this association were members when this association was really an association. When Governor of Central Bank was a proud card-carrying member of Lions Clubs International, when the CBN will pay the dues of these members. When the managing director of Nigerian Breweries, UAC Ikoyi Hotel, were card-carrying members of the association, and one of the perks of their office was that their companies paid their dues into the same association. Now, if we're lucky that a lowly staff in a bank, maybe an officer, entry-level officer, just because person works in bank XYZ, my great lion, welcome my great lion, we're celebrating. How many of our clubs have a bank MD as a member? In how many places do we have bank managers who constantly attend meetings and show up for projects? Are we no longer worthy of such people? We need to ask ourselves some serious questions. Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes down to leadership. If the leadership is honest and is not self-serving and is not about my tenure, then they will get together. Thank you, Lion Tony Chukwu. Any more questions?
Thank you, Lion.
Yes, good evening, Lions.
Lion Emmanuel Chukura.
Yes, good evening, my teacher.
Bro, how are you?
We are blessed, so thank you so much. I must have to tell you that I'm very, very well impressed with your teaching this evening. But I am very concerned about a club identifying a community before they can achieve their purpose. A lot has been said about club identifying a community for them to serve effectively. But such action have not been tactfully achieved either by the district or the multiple districts. My question now is there any way the district or the multiple district can enforce that particular policy that a club must be identified with a community, whether old or new club?
Yes, we can start. We can start.
A lot have been said about this in the past, but nothing has actually happened.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Lionima. First of all, Lions Clubs International would only register you, like they will say, Lagos Ikoyi, all right, or Asaba Prestige, or we'll say Abuja. So they tie you to an area. Lions Clubs International is a community-based association. Now, when we now come into our various districts, one thing that we can do very quickly and very easily is the district governors presently, or the district governors team, or the global action teams and all that, can do a map of their districts. Take red pins and put onto the places where you have existing clubs. And automatically you'll see areas where you don't even have any clubs at all. Those are the places where you want to go and form new clubs. Now, those places where you have clusters of clubs, you can now begin to delineate. If you come to Lagos, for instance, any club, 1 club, 10 clubs can't even finish the work in Makoko. It's not possible. Do you understand? So it is, yes. It is easy if districts actually, sit down and you see, you need to go round. You need to sell the idea to people. You need to explain to them why they have to work in certain places so that we can cover ground. You need to get them to buy in. That is visionary leadership. And it's not something that one person can achieve, but one person can start it. The first vice and the second vice, if they toe the same line and all that, you'll now begin to see that clubs don't fall over each other anymore.
Yes, sir. But the earlier the district and the multiple district begin to do this, the better for the club.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I've said how they can quickly do this very, very easily. Just do a map, put pins onto the places where clubs are operating from. I guarantee you that 80% of the pins, if not 90%, will be clustered within a particular area. So you can begin to stretch it. Then when you go for visits, DG's visits, region chairs visits, zone chairpersons visits, and all that, go with your club health assessment, ask some questions and all of that, and you now begin to spread some of these people around. Now, but how can you get people to achieve this? You have to start talking about bringing in good quality people. People who actually have something between their ears, not just air. Those are the people that will understand these things that you're talking about and actually go ahead and begin to implement it. How do you enforce it? That's why I said that we have to figure out, first of all, what is it that you can deny clubs that will make them want to fall in line? Once you figure it out, then you tell them, this is what you should do. You come back, they are not doing it. You point them in the right direction. After a second or a third visit, they're still not doing it. You apply a sanction. Without consequence management, a lot of children, babies, would have killed themselves in childhood. But parents, anybody here, and most people here are parents, most parents will know that they apply consequence management. The children will try you. Frank, keep that thing there. Frank will go and remove it and put it in a different place. Oh, this boy, Frank, you're so stubborn. Leave that thing there. Tomorrow, Frank will remove it and keep it in his room.
No, I won't remove it.
So consequence management is important. But yes, Lanchukura,
all right, thank you so much.
If you have people in your districts who have the ears of the leadership, sit them down and explain it to them and extract from them commitments that some of these things will change. Lion Bridget, Igodalo.
Good evening, my DJ. Good evening, Great Lions. Thank you very much, Lion Austin, for this excellent delivery on the subject matter. I actually had my hand raised initially and had to drop it because I felt everyone was speaking towards a particular thing, which is the problem, walking the talk in different ways, though. But in addition to all of what has been said, I would like to advocate for the district to look into setting up like a guiding lion monitoring committee that can actually from time to time touch base with the clubs and ensure they are implementing the Lions international purposes. And like you said, consequence management to go alongside with it and reporting back to the district and ensure that people follow suit what they expect to do. But I also believe that most of the people we put in offices do not have an idea of what actually obtains because we have so many people defaulting from going to the Lions website to have some learning points of their own or probably attending learning sessions as this. So if we're able to walk the talk and ensure proper implementation, we should be able, in my opinion, to ameliorate problems of this nature. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lion Bridget. Perhaps we need to start changing the mode of appointing people, because what normally happens now is maybe a DJ is coming in, you want to appoint officers, and you say, okay, so and so position, we zone it to this club or to this zone. This person came from this club in that zone, so this time around, it won't be from that club, it will be from another place. And it's possible that an excellent person is in the club that have produced somebody for a similar position the last year. But because you're doing zoning like we do in Nigeria, you overlook that person and give it to somebody who is not capable of doing that job. You're shortchanging the association. You're not working with purpose. Perhaps we should actually throw it open. If DGs or incoming district governors were to say, all right, these 10, 15 positions are what are available. If you're interested in any of these things and you're ready to work, send in an application with reasons why you should be given that role. First of all, if somebody says, I'm interested, that is step one. It shows commitment to an extent. If somebody supports that I'm interested with documentation, that is step two. You can evaluate that person's commitment and ability. All right. When you now speak with the person, you can tell whether that person fits the position that you want and whether that person can actually do that job. and 4. It doesn't really matter if there are 4 of them, for instance, from the same club. What is important is, are the communities getting what they deserve? Like I said, it's not about us, being past this, past that, and then you're walking around hanging shoulder like hanger and all of that. I've done it all. I'm a senior this, I'm a senior that. You're not senior anything. If you're a senior in a place that is not producing anything, you're a junior. So if we want to make changes, the changes have to be wholesome. It has to be a total transformation. If we're going to achieve small incremental steps and all that, we'll still be on this path in 10 years, but even worse than we are now. And that is the honest truth. The people who want to do things properly are unfortunately in the minority. If you give them another 3 years, you won't even hear their voices again. So this is the time to start the process of making the change. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great Lions would want to draw your attention to the attendance that had been dropped in the chat room. Please try and fill out the attendance. At the end of it all, would like you to turn on your cameras so we'll take photographs. May I please invite the district GET Lion Felicia Obilo to give a vote of thanks. Thank you.
So sorry, DCS. So
yes,
sorry. There was one more hand that was up, Ajay. I'm sorry I missed that before Lion Felicia speaks. Ajay,
okay.
You have a comment?
Good evening, my great Lion leader.
Yes.
This is Lion Ajayi Sunday from Benin Centennial under District 4484.
Hey, yeah, how are you?
I'm good. It's nice seeing your face. It's been a while.
Pleasure.
So
yes,
quickly to my question. Around the quality of the project that we are doing, I don't know. There was something that came up yesterday because we had a few sections yesterday, but I couldn't ask so much questions. I found out that most of the projects are being concentrated in one local area, leaving other areas where our impact could be felt. And this already is not creating the visibility that Lions International really needed, because some areas we have already publicity there. People knows us because there's area where we do our meetings. But some areas where these projects are really being needed, oftentimes we don't see us going there to execute those projects, and hereby depriving us that visibility as a whole in terms of Lion visibility around. So I don't know what we can do differently, because club has its own role to play. Also, the district too has a major role to play in supporting all these things. So I don't know how we create that balance and make sure that we spread our projects around instead of just concentrating in a particular local government or particular area, hereby not being able to catch the people that we want to catch and spread the gospel around. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Well, I answered part of it when I was speaking to Lani Machukura's question. We need to decentralize the clubs. We need to spread them around. We need to form clubs only in underserved areas. And we need to plan. We need to plan. We should stop being lazy. In Lagos, for instance, any month that is childhood cancer, almost all the clubs in Lagos will start running to loot, because they say loot childhood cancer ward in loot. Then everybody runs to loot. Are we saying that there are no children who are not in loot who have childhood cancer in the various communities we serve? Are there no schools where we can educate the parents, on what childhood cancer is, what to look out for, what help to seek when you see some of those things? Are there no other things that we can do in our various communities, that is relating to cancer? There may be a child, whose parents cannot afford to go to hospital. That child is rotting away. Can't you make that child a little bit more comfortable in your community? So those things will happen again when you connect with purpose. If you are acting in a purpose-driven manner, all of these things will be a thing of the past. So what you can do, Lion Ajayi, start with your club, okay? Get your club to choose a community. Define that community. For the next 5 years, carry out, execute all your projects in that community and all that. And after a while, you begin to see that your community gains relevance and others will begin to follow you. All right, thank you very much. So sorry, my GCS and evergreen, Lion Felicia.
No worries.
To you.
Thank you, Lion Austin. I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much. You've done it again. I'm not surprised. I'm sure that everyone here will agree with me when we say that it's been a very impactful almost 2 hours. Thank you so much. I actually particularly like that part about applying for positions instead of just appointing. I think that will change a lot of narratives in our districts and in the whole Lions family. Because the idea of just some people will say, they didn't even consult me. He just gave me a position. I'm sure when people apply for these positions, like you have advised, they will be more apt to function properly in it. So I thank you for everything you have said. I thank you. And I know that if I say God bless you, it will not even be enough. So thank you from all of us in the multiple districts. Thank you so much. God bless you. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Please, before we go, could we please turn on our cameras? Thank you. Please turn on your camera. Lion Franklin.
I'm waiting for everybody to turn on.
Now, Felicia, but why was it you that did both of them? You can't say anything
I
different.
disabled my camera.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Please just turn on your camera.
Some of our camera has been
My
disabled.
camera is disabled.
Disable some of our camera.
That is training, being my younger brother and all.
I tell you.
The host has disabled our camera.
No. Try again.
It is now.
Still saying the same thing. Still saying disabled.
What's your problem now?
Lion Franklin.
He's still saying the same disabled.
It's still disabled.
Now it's probably up now.
No.
You cannot start your video because the host has disabled it. That is what he's telling us.
Same here.
Oh, what a wonderful lecture. I enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sure I enjoyed this more than each and every one of you, actually.
Honestly.
No surprise.
That's too
As
much.
usual.
Maruf. See, Maruf, you, Felicia,
no surprise now.
You can't be saying anything now. Be calming down.
Maruf, stop harassing.
No surprise now. We know now.
Please, the host will be meaningful by the same day also.
All right. Lion Franklin. Somebody just called me. Lion Helen, how are you?
Franklin, go ahead.
Lion Helen, what did you say? Yes.
Franklin, good to see you once again.
Good to see you.
Yeah, same here. Same here. It's been a while.
I still have your spoon and cutlery too.
You say have my what?
Your spoon, your cutlery.
My video is being disabled. Let me see.
Good night, everyone. Lion Franklin, good to see you once again. Bye.
All right, Lion Franklin, should we go?
Once again, thank you so much for the lecture.
All right.
Thank
you all. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir, for everything.
Okay.
Hey, I enjoyed it. Oh, thank you,
Bye,
Lion
everybody.
Austin.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let me leave
All right,
now.
good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Lion.
Good night.
Lion DS. Lion Chinelu.
Good night.
Lion Mom.
Hi, my great
Yes.
lion. Hey, how
Lion
are
King,
you?
my pastor, the Lion King.
Happy RC.
Leave. Oh.
Lion Moruf.
I greet you.
I salute you too.
Arachino, good evening.
This is Ipakodo greeting
Lion
you, sir.
King.
I know, sir.
I am Abuti.
How you there, sir?
Very well, sir.